Have you ever wondered who the first Sith Lord was? That is what we will be looking into today. Like, subscribe, and click that notification bell to be the first to see new videos. This is the life of the first Sith Lord. Before I begin, please keep in mind this is all Legends continuity. None of this is canon, for Disney has not said anything of the early life of the galaxy. Ajunta Pall was the first ever Sith Lord and a member of the Jedi Order following the First Great Schism. Undergoing training in the ways of the Force, Pall first attained the rank of a Jedi Knight, then attained the rank of a Jedi Master and began studying the ways of alchemy. Eventually, through his studies, Master Pall discovered the secret of creating and shaping life. Fearful of this power, the Order deemed it a domination of the Force and sought to erase all practice of it. The Jedi High Council bared the teachings of Pall and his followers, deeming him a pawn of the dark side of the Force. Angered by what they deemed Jedi arrogance, Master Pall and his followers declared war on the Order, beginning century-long conflict that would be known in history as the 100-Year Darkness. Obtaining significant power, now High General Pall slew more than a dozen Jedi during the final battle of the war on Korbos, but he and his fellow Jedi were defeated nonetheless. Captured by his former comrades in the Jedi Order, Master Pall and the followers were stripped of their ranks and their weapons and exiled from space controlled by the Galactic Republic. Traveling from one planet to the other in search of habitable worlds, the exiles eventually discovered Korriban on the Outer Rim. Venturing out into the wastes of the desert planet, the exiles were intrigued upon discovering the world was home to Force-sensitive species known as Sith, who, while relatively kind, were comparing the Dark Jedi, were quite creative in their knowledge of the Force. The Sith, under their king, Graham Crochet, initially resisted the Dark Jedi's attempts to attain the knowledge and subject them. However, Pall managed to recruit the king's shadow hand to their side, with the result that Quasha was betrayed to the Dark Jedi, and Pall personally executed Quashas with his own sword. Afterwards, the Sith species and all Pall and his followers, ships and technology, as well as their skills in manipulating the Force, quickly came to worship the Sith to their home planet. Hailing them as gods, Pall and his followers then subjected their natives and new Sith subjects, revered him as Generar, meaning Dark Lord. As the first Dark Lord of the Sith, Ajunta Pall founded the first Sith Empire and expanded it to other worlds. The Sith took over the planet Zoist and created it as the capital and as Pall's new home. Pall eventually died after serving the Empire for many decades, but his empire lived on. His body was returned to Korriban, where it was placed in a massive tomb, and where it would be called the Valley of the Dark Lords. After his physical death, Ajunta Pall's spirit persisted within his tomb, having attached his soul to the physical world through his extensive knowledge of alchemy. Over the centuries, he began to question his actions as a Sith Lord and the downfall the Lords experienced at each other's hand. After a millennia after his death, during the Jedi Civil War, Jedi Knight Revan entered Ajunta Pall's tomb to retrieve Sith Lord's sword so he could gain prestige from the nearby Sith Academy, which he hoped would ultimately lead to his accessing a star map containing partial coordinates of the Star Forge. Ajunta Pall appeared as a spirit and told Revan of his actions as a Sith, with disappointment and shame, telling him how the Jedi weren't driven the Sith to destruction after 100 years of darkness. Pall explained how the Sith themselves battled each other and led their order close to death, and he felt nothing but remorse. Revan removed the Dark Lord's blade and convinced Pall to turn away from the dark side and return to the light. Letting go of his pain and anguish, Paul returned to the light and became one with the Force, finding peace at last. It is said that Revan gave the sword to Master Ajunta at the Academy, obtaining the prestige necessary to reach the star map. Before his spirit was finished, Paul hinted at a secret source of Sith power. He was unable to recline convicted images of whether Revan had discovered the source of power, or would soon do so. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment on what you would like to see on this channel. Thank you for watching.